Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how did we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's the eCommerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart, Mroz, and John Suder. The eCommerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com.
It's eCommerce Minute, episode 656.
In today's episode, The Body Shop tests open hiring policy.
The job search can be a grueling, demoralizing process. Some may be ghosted by employers they've reached out to, and others go through rounds of interviews just to be told no. But what if you applied to a job with no interviews, no background checks, or no drug tests? When there is a job available, you just answer 3 yes or no questions and the job is yours. It's a new philosophy called open hiring, and one company is testing the waters. Beauty retailer The Body Shop will implement this open hiring model for customer consultant positions at its U.S. retail stores this summer. Under the model, job openings will be filled on a first-come, first-served basis by any applicant who meets basic requirements. The Body Shop will not conduct a background check or use drug screenings. Instead, it will ask candidates whether they are authorized to work in the U.S., can lift over 50 pounds, and stand up for 8 hours. Open hiring policies address the barriers and biases that formerly incarcerated individuals face finding jobs. The practice aligns with The Body Shop's overall mission to be the world's most ethical and sustainable global business. The company piloted the practice, which was pioneered by New York social enterprise Grayson Bakery in its North Carolina distribution center at the end of 2019. The Body Shop plans to expand the practice to all of its retail stores this summer, where it employs around 800 people and as many as 1,000 during the holidays. The Body Shop learned about Grayson Bakery's open hiring policy when it was presented as a potential model for employers to consider when hiring formerly incarcerated persons during a U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation event in June of 2019. For Grayson Bakery, when there's an opening, the job is filled from a list of people looking for work. New hires start as apprentices and get training in both how to do the job and basic life skills. Those who decide to stay after the apprenticeship get an entry-level job and the opportunity to advance. Their open hiring system works well enough that the bakery sold 8 million pounds of brownies in 2019, making $22 million.
Wow. This is pretty cool. I know myself, I probably wouldn't meet any of these requirements except for the work in the U.S. I can't lift anything. No.
I sure as hell can't stand for 8 hours.
Just kidding.
Can't stay.
I can lift 50 pounds over my head and put it back down. So I think this is really cool because I listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of crime podcasts, and it's like, yes, this young man was 19 and he was stupid and had a gun and had some drugs, and now he's got a felony on his record and he can't get his life together because rules and reasons. And I get it. If you own a business and you have someone that has a criminal background, especially for things like stealing cars and stealing lots of money, you may think twice about hiring them. Mm-hmm. I really believe that people deserve a second chance. That's not really a super controversial thing, but that's just the way this country's structured, is that, once you've got a felony, you're just pretty much locked out of everything.
Which is so unfair, because how are they ever supposed to get their life together if they are afforded zero opportunity?
Right. It's like you can't become an actor without a SAG card. You can't get a SAG card without being in any productions. It's right. Like you can't put the cart before the horse because there's no cart, and the glass is half full because someone took it and spilled it. I mean, right. It's hard.
Exactly. And even for minor drug offenses, like having a few grams of weed on you, people can't get jobs with that on their
Yeah, I mean, there's still guys that start in prison for weed, like 30 years later. It's like, what?
That's a whole. We could do a whole podcast.
We'll put a pin on that one. So I think again, what this shows is maybe the bias in this country is changing a little bit. I mean, obviously, there's going to be rules and regulations put in place, and to kind of move some of this legislation through that would kind of ease some of the restrictions on convicted people, because that Bart, you and I, being the older fellows on the podcast, you're not the same person you were when you're 19. You're not the same person you were when you're 25. I know, and now that I'm 27, I am not that same person anymore. I'm trying to slip that by the goalie. But you know what I mean? It's like you make mistakes when you're younger, and you shouldn't have to spend the rest of your life paying the price.
What I would like for everything, right?
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And even, it's like when I see people 19 years old getting married, I'm like, what are you thinking?
Oh, jeez. That's
so stupid.
Yeah, dumb and stupid.
Like kids having kids and all that stuff. But I would love to see some kind of numbers on this to see. I'd love to take a look at this in a year from now and see what the success rate of this. I mean, obviously, this Grayston Bakery, it worked for them, and it continues to work for them. I would love to check back in a year and see how this worked out.
As far as the Body Shop goes, I mean, this has always been a really cool brand that has always been doing cool things. So I remember back in my early days of like watching beauty YouTubers, it was mostly like British YouTubers that would recommend the Body Shop. It was like really big. I think it was British YouTubers. And I was like, what the heck is the Body Shop? Like I didn't even know what it is. And like, since I've known about them since I was like 13, it's just, they've always been doing like sustainable things and like progressive things. And they
were founded in the United Kingdom.
Haha, that's
their
probably
headquarters are in Croydon.
That's
Croydon, PA, but Croydon, United Kingdom.
Two different places, sir.
Yeah, like that's my headquarters, Croydon, PA.
Oh God. Oh God. What if you guys had like some sort of like weird like telepathic like connection?
We're from there.
No, Croydon, UK people and Croydon, PA people.
Oh, like our sister city kind of thing?
Well, Bristol is next to it, and there's a bath road that runs through Bristol, so it's the same thing.
Oh, there you go.
There's literally no difference.
Literally.
But yeah, Body Shop's always been really cool. I was like super not surprised when I saw that out of all the companies, it was a Body Shop. I had this one lotion that was peach scented from there, and I really freaking liked it. So.
All right. That's a shout out for the Body Shop. All right. Good one. We're going to close it out with a little stat time. According to a 2017 study from the Population Association of America, a nonprofit academic association, an estimated 4.9 million Americans were formerly incarcerated. In 2018, the Body Shop's distribution center saw employee turnover rates of 38% in November and 43% in December. In 2019, after they began using the open hiring, that decreased to 14% in November and 16% in December. Wait, we've got stats already. How about that? Look at that. That's remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, read between the lines. These people need the jobs, and they're probably super grateful to have that. And I think it's always great to have people who appreciate the work that they have instead of we're just here for the money.
Yeah.
And overall monthly employee turnover, a big issue in labor-intensive jobs, has decreased by 60% in the initial test program. Or I forget everything I said at the beginning of the show. We got stats right here. This is great. I think this is awesome. But still, I want to come back and circle back to this next year.
Mm-hmm.
And January 2020 saw 225,000 non-farm jobs added, a strong start to the new year. The New York Times reported in its report. ADP observed a similar uptick in jobs, though it reported 291,000 rise in non-farm private sector employment. Unemployment is just slightly higher than it was in December at 3.6%. What we're not saying here, though, is people are working 2 or 3 jobs just to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. But that's a whole other thing.
Yep.
Yep. All right. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
All right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow.
That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.